classical age. When you study, Alexander Pope. Alexander Pope is known as, he's known as new classical poet. Why he's known as a new classical poet? In the name of Augustus, in the age of the Augustus, who is the son of the Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar is the first person who invaded England very first time, and he replaced the Celtic and Gallics over there. Julius Caesar, he was the first person who invaded England, and he occupied the land of England. And he replaced, whom he replaced over there? Celtic and Gallics. Celtics and Gallics were the first people, they were living in England. They replaced them. Roman, they replaced them. And then, Roman Greeks, there were many Viking tribes and Visigoths and like these tribes, they started attacking on the Roman state. Roman were baffled and confused how to deal with these Visigoth and Viking and Anglo-Saxons and Jutes and Germanics and like these tribes. They were attacking on the Romans. Ultimately, they replaced Romans. Very first time, Julius Caesar, he attacked on the England and he occupied England. He replaced the Celtic Gallics. So Celtic Gallics, they go to the seashores and far flung side of the area. They just moved away. And Roman, they replaced them. No, Celtic and Gallics, they are calling to other people like Anglo-Saxon, Germanics and Jutes. They were coming from the Norway side. They came from Norway side. They are sitting on the seashore side and they need places to live for their agriculture, for their land, for their homes. Anglo-Saxon, they were a fighter. Anglo-Saxon and Jutes. No, Celtic and Gallic, they call them, please help us. Roman are taking our land and they are occupying us. Please help us. As they call the Germanic tribes and the Jutes and Germans, Germanics and Anglo-Saxons like that, what happens? They replaced Romans. And this way, so on and so forth, we have other fighting. Then Anglo-Saxon period started, which is also called Old English, where we find certain writer. We find King Arthur, we find other writer, Sargavians, we find other Cadmans, we find Beats, like many writers we find in Old English period. Then there is another period we call Norman periods. Ultimately, Normans, French people, they attacked on the Anglo-Saxons. And King Harold, who was the last king of the Anglo-Saxon, he was replaced by the Normans. Norman replaced, and ultimately Norman period started in England. Ultimately, we move forward. No French. No, in England we have various, amalgamation of language. We have Roman, we have Latin, we have Greek, we have French, we have Old English, we have Germanic, we have Jutes, we have Anglo-Saxons, Celtic and Gallic and mixture, other dialects. So that was amalgamations of, English is being amalgamated by various languages. Ultimately, there rose a language which is called Midland or Medieval English. Geoffrey Chaucer is one of the main, figure of medieval age. Geoffrey Chaucer, born in 1340, died in 1400. He visited Italy, where he met Boccaccio, Dante, and like these Boccaccio's and like these Petrarch, like these poets. He influenced from them. He influenced from their poetry. He visited their area. He was working under the king, and he was working as just like an ambassador. He visited many European countries, and after that he influenced from Boccaccio. Boccaccio wrote a book which was named as Decameron. in which he criticized the various churches and the people. They were misusing people. He borrowed the same story and he just reshaped them in the form of prologue to the Canterbury Tale. I hope you have studied about Prologue to the Canterbury Tale by Geoffrey Chaucer. Geoffrey Chaucer was born in 1340 and died in 1400. He was a great medieval poet. It is said about Geoffrey Chaucer, he was the sunset of the medieval age and dawn of the Renaissance, because he has seen both period, Renaissance age and medieval age. Medieval age, how do you characterize medieval age? How do you define medieval age? Medieval age, it was the age of the church. Church was dominating that time, because everything you do, you have to take permission from church. If you want to get married, you have to take permission. If you earn something, you have to give to church. If you want to do some business, you have to take permission. If you earn certain part of the money, you have to give to church. Finally, people of England, they decided, we earn and church is taking everything. Church is doing nothing. And talk about the people like Pardner, like Somner, like ecclesiastic people. They are just churchmen. They are sitting, doing nothing and taking away certain amount of our money, our earning. Why are they taking? Since man is the attention center of this universe. God has created everything for this man. He has given immense potential. Why don't we explore human being? Another philosophy started working through Petrarch. Petrarch was, father of the humanism. He started preaching humanism. So along with the poetry, people also writing on humanism. You will find the touch of the humanism in Geoffrey Chaucer's work. He takes all the character with the light manner. He's not extreme, he's not criticizing extreme way, rather he is just taking them as a part of the human follies. You and me all are mixtures of evil. Evil in me, evil in you, and there is a good and evil, both go side by side. It is the slogan of the humanism. Humanism says that we should explore the human being rather than the churches. We should not give focus on churches, rather on the human being. They started working on the human being. They exploring the potential of human being. And now you can see England, they made progress. They left church, they started working on human being. So many people, they help to flourish this movement, especially Renaissance movement, humanism, and they started, propagating the work of literature, work of painting, work of politics, work of philosophy. So this way, people are working on the humanism. This is just the history of the English literature. I have briefed you about Roman Greeks age, how Roman Greeks, they attacked on the Anglo-Saxon, Celtic and Gallics, and they replaced them. Then Anglo-Saxon comes. Then Anglo-Saxons and Jutes, they come and they overcome, Roman Greeks. They replace the Roman Greeks. And then the Normans, they come and they replace the Anglo-Saxons. And then ultimately, they, mixed with the, English people. Normans, they had a characteristic. Wherever they go, they attacked and they built their own kind of buildings. They even married the females of the country they occupy. So Norman, as they come over here, especially in England, they started marrying the female of the English people. So they mixed with them. So now you see that the Normans, the French and English, they are just like one country. You can even travel to England, and then you can travel back. The people like French and the English people, they look like same. So it is due to these Normans. As Norman attacked on England, the occupied land of England, they started marrying their female. So they mixed with them. Wherever they go, they mixed with them. They came from the northern side of Norway. They came from Norway side. They were the Norwegian peoples. So they, first of all, they come, Normandy is a place in the, Normandy is a place in, especially in France. So as they entered area of France, they occupied French land. And after that, the king of the France, they say that we don't want to fight you. If you want female, we give you our females as well. So they give even their females. They married with the French people. No, they are relative of the French people. French people say that you can stay over there, but don't tease us, because they were the warriors. They were slave keeper. They were fighter. They were like a people, fighter like a people. So French people, they say that we don't want to fight. If you want female, take our female. So they married their female and they had a relation with them. No, they are relative of the French people, but from French, they attack on England. They occupied the land of England, and over there, they also married with them, with their females, and they built their own buildings, own palace, own houses. So like that. Hope you got the history of English literature. So here, some points I want to discuss about this. If you have any question related to history of English literature, you can ask any question.